Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's video we are going to cut this circle palazzo pant you are seeing on your screen. If what you are seeing on your screen is what you want to stay and watch, please stay tuned, watch to the end, subscribe to my channel, share this video, comment and like. Okay, so I've already placed my pattern paper. I'll be cutting this design with pattern paper. Then after drafting it, I'm going to transfer it to my fabric. I've already marked out my starting line. So from my starting line, I minus 1.5 inches for the band, the trouser band, then the pant band. Then I mark out the full length of my trouser plus my hemming allowance. That is 42 inches in total. So after marking out that, the next thing I have to dot out is my hip measurement and my crunch line. Okay, so my crunch line is 13.5 inches, the hip measurement is 10 inches. Remember, whatever measurement you're taking, you will minus that 1.5 inch. It's very, very important. Okay, after this I will connect it with a straight line. So after this, the next thing I have to do is to divide my hip measurement by 4, and I'm going to mark it on the waist, the hip and the crunch line. So my hip measurement is 48 divided by 4. That will give me 12 inches. Then I'll be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. That will give me 13 inches. So I'm going to mark 13 inches both the waist, hip and the crunch line. So after marking that, I'm going to connect it with a straight line. So after that, the next thing I have to do right now is to mark my crunch depth, my crunch line. So you divide your thighs, your round thighs or your round labs by 2. So my round labs is 30 inches divided by 2. That's going to give me 15 inches. Then I'll be adding 1 inches for sewing allowance or 2 inches. It depends on how many allowance you want to use to close the both side. If you want to use 1 inch to close the side, then you're going to add 2 inches. If you want to use half inches, then you're going to add 1 inch. So at this point, I'm going to add 2 inches for the closing allowance. So at this point, I'm going to connect from this point to this dot to get my crunch line. So I'm going to use my French curve. You can always use a free hand if you're not good with French curve. So after connecting that, the next thing I have to do now is to mark my waist measurement, which is my waist measurement is 43, or you can say 42 divided by 4. That will give me 10.5. So I'll be measuring this 10.5 from this part. So 10.5 plus 1 inch joining allowance, that will give me 11.5. So from this part, I'm going to connect it down to the hip measurement. So after marking that, the next thing I have to do is to divide what I have here into 2. 17 divided by 2 is going to give me 8.5. So I'm going to mark 8.5 here, 8.5 here, and 8.5 to the full length. So I'm going to take this line down. So after taking this line down, the next thing I have to do is to mark whatever I have here on the down part. So I have 17 inches here. I'm going to take it down to 17 inches on the down part, and I'll connect it with a straight line. So after connecting, I went ahead to mark my folding allowance on the down part. So the next thing I have to do right now is, this is for the front. So we're going to use this same pattern to draft out the back, but I'm going to change the marker color so that you will understand what I am doing. So to get the back, I'm going to come up. Before the back, on the front, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the waistline and connect it to this part. Then if you're a type that use that, all you have to do is to divide your nipples to nipples measurement by 4 and place it here. Divide your nipples to nipples measurement by 2, sorry, and place it here. Then you connect it with a straight line. Then on the both side, you are going to mark half inch. This is for your dart. It's for your dart. Then after that, remember to replace the dart from the side. So you just mark the 1 inch that you take out for your dart and replace it by the side and connect it back. So after replacing the dart, the next thing I have to do is to, from this 1 inch, I'm going to come up by 2 inches for the back. So after marking the 2 inches from here, all I have to do is to connect it down to the waist. Then on the side, I'll be marking 2 inches. So I'm going to connect the 2 inches. This measurement I'm using is for a plus size. As you can see, it's wide already. It's a plus size. So from here, from the crunch line, I'm going to come out by 1.5 inches. You come up, as you mark 1.5 inch here, from the waistline here, you also mark 1.5 inch. So it will make you to have a different waistline. Let's work on this one so that you will see what next to do. So I'm going to connect this down to this. Then I'm going to take it up, connect it back to here. Then to get our waist, because you see already now I've added 1.5 inch here, which will make our waist excess. So I'm going to taking up the dart. So let's cut off the dart first, then I'll show you on how to get our back waistline. So let's cut this part first. So this is how I'm going to close out the dart. I'm going to use my gum and I'll close out up the dart. So after closing up my dart, I'm going to remark the waistline for back, which is my waist measurement is 10.5. This is 10.5 plus 1 inch joining allowance. That is 10.5. That's 11.5. So I'm going to take it back to the waistline, to the hip line, I mean to say. I will connect it down to the hip line and I'll take this straight, because you see after joining the waistline, the line is no longer straight, so you have to mark it straight. This is for the back and I'm going to mark this straight for the front waistline. And this is for the front. So let's shake the front waistline after closing the measurement, the dart. Remember my waist measurement is 42 divided by 2 is 10.5. This is 10.5 plus 1 inches. So this is my waist line. Okay. So guys, the next thing I have to do now is to cut out the back, because we are going to work on the back first before the front. To cut out the back, I'm going to fold this in. Remember, this is for our front. I'm going to fold this in to get the back. Then after getting the back, I'm going to open it to get the front. We're working on the back bodies first. Then the next thing I have to do is from this crunch line, I'm going to come down by 6 inches. You can do 7 inches, you can do more than that. So I'm going to connect the line down to the crunch line, and I'll do the same to this side. This first line I connect now is for the front pattern, and the back pattern I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch. Then I'll connect for the, even if I don't want to follow this line, I'll just take it down to this starting line on my crunch and connect it to the line. So that will serve for the back bodies. So I'm going to cut this open. I'm going to cut this open. So I'm going to cut open the back own first, because we are cutting the back bodies first. Don't cut it out entirely, remember that. So this is what I'm going to have. So I'll bring my fabric now to trace it out on my fabric. Okay guys, after cutting out the back, this is the back. After cutting it out, we have to move now to the cutting of the front. So all I have to do now is to bring this part out. Then I'm going to cut from here. I'm going to cut from here. And I'll tape here back. And I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut the waist area out. So this is for the front. So I'm going to take it to the folded clothes and then cut it out. Then the cutting, this is the cutting for the back. So we're going to do the cutting for the front. So let's take it to our cutting table and cut out the front bodies. Alright guys, this is the front bodies. I've already placed it on my fabric. Remember the side I cut both the addition I added for the back. So I'm going to cut this out. So guys, this is the final look of the dress after cutting it out.